The Taliban takeover of Afghanistan is starting a national debate over resettling Afghans in the U.S. Thousands of them helped American forces during the 20-year conflict. As a result, they now fear for their lives and are desperate to get out of the country. As CBS News reports, questions are being raised about who qualifies for resettlement in the U.S. and how these refugees will be processed. For more, I want to bring in CBS News immigration reporter Camilo Montoyo-Galvez. Camilo, how many Afghan refugees does the U.S. plan to resettle, and what legal status will these refugees have?
Hi, Lana. The Biden administration has yet to say how many Afghan refugees it has admitted into the U.S. so far, or how many it plans to ultimately resettle here in the U.S. However, we know that the U.S. military has been instructed to build up enough housing capacity to accommodate up to 50,000 Afghan refugees. We know that there are 4 bases in Virginia, Texas, Wisconsin, and here in New Jersey that are housing up to 15,000 Afghan refugees, and the Pentagon is working to expand that capacity to 22,000 by the end of the week. So this is a massive undertaking, Lana, by the U.S. government. In terms of the legal status that this group of refugees will receive once here in the U.S., it all depends on their specific circumstances. So Afghans who assisted the U.S. war effort and who have special immigrant visas because of this involvement will automatically become green card holders once they arrive here in the U.S. Their spouses and children will also get green cards, and they will be eligible for the same social programs that traditional refugees receive once they get to the U.S. Immigrants from Afghanistan who are pending special immigrant...
Sorry, Camilo, I was hoping you could tell us a little bit more about, and it sounds like you're getting to it, when these Afghan refugees arrive in the U.S., what the processing looks like for them.
Sure. So the Afghans who are evacuated from Kabul have been taken to U.S. bases in Asia and Europe, like Doha, Bahrain, Kuwait, Spain, and Germany, and they undergo security vetting in those third countries before their U.S. arrival. The ones who are chosen, because not all of them will go to the U.S., but the ones who are chosen to come to the U.S. are being relocated to 4 of these military installations in New Jersey, Virginia, Texas, and Wisconsin. At those military installations, Lana, the U.S. government is conducting coronavirus testing. It is conducting medical checks on these refugees, and it is also helping them get work permits, green cards, if applicable, obviously, and other travel arrangements and services that they may need. After that, resettlement agencies that work with the government take the lead and help these refugees integrate into American society by helping them find affordable housing, jobs, career training, and other services that they may need to be able to settle down here in the U.S. on a permanent basis.
And Camilo, as you mentioned, many of these refugees and their families are being hunted right now as a result of the work that they did for the U.S. government and on behalf of U.S. troops. And as a result, the U.S. government is using a little-known humanitarian immigration tool to allow some of these at-risk Afghans to enter the U.S. without visas. What more can you tell us about that?
Yes, this is a big deal, Lana. So humanitarian parole is a discretionary power that the Department of Homeland Security has to authorize the entry of immigrants who would otherwise be ineligible to come here to the U.S. These are people who don't have visas. So this benefit would potentially help those Afghans who don't have their visas for special immigrant visas approved yet, as well as other vulnerable Afghans like women leaders, parliamentarians, and activists who don't qualify for the special immigrant visa program. And so what this does is just authorize their entry even if they don't have a visa. So this is just a temporary measure that allows them to legally enter the U.S., but it does not grant them legal status in the U.S. They still have to seek other benefits like asylum to be able to stay here on a permanent basis. But it is potentially a game changer for a lot of these refugees, because as we know, there is an August 31st deadline to evacuate not just American citizens and green card holders, but these Afghans who helped U.S. forces, and many of these Afghans have not completed their immigration processing.
And the attacks that just happened certainly showing us exactly what's at stake. All right, Camilo, thank you.
Thanks, Lana.